So what do we withhold? What do we withhold as women when we feel our husbands are not living up to who they were supposed to be to make us feel those romantic feelings of love? The main things we withhold, and again, this is conscious and malicious and purposeful denial of what we know is, one, just part of a healthy relationship, and also what's important to our husbands as good men. So the number one thing that we withhold, and I imagine everyone in the chat could type this in right now, I'm not going to look, but you would type in the number one thing that a woman withholds in a relationship or a marriage. And the number one thing that we withhold is sex. We use sex as a weapon, that when we feel that we are not being loved and made to feel loved, and those unreasonable expectations, we withhold sex. And we can withhold sex by stopping having sex altogether. We can also withhold sex by not being present in sex and treating sex as a chore, sex as a burden of something that we have to do for our husbands, but we are like dead fish. And there's no engagement, and we're not there. And that is also withholding. Number two, I'm going to go over the top 5 ways that we withhold as women. The number one being sex. The second that we withhold is affection. And different than sex. Affection is rubbing your husband's neck while he's driving, and I might pinch my husband on his butt and be playful in that way, or cuddling while we're watching a movie, or cuddling for a little bit when we go to bed, or just, stroking the hair across his forehead. It's touch, it's affection, which is incredibly important to men, just as sex is incredibly important to a man. And when we feel we are not getting those feelings of love met in the way that we feel that they should, we withhold affection. Number 3, we withhold fun and playfulness. We all know as women that in the beginning of the relationship, we were spontaneous, we were lighthearted, we like to go out, we like to get dressed up and go have fun. And then we get the ring, we get married, we get the commitment, and that facade comes off. And I do not mean this in a crude way, but it's the best way to explain it. We get a stick up our butt in the relationship, and we become frigid and rigid, and we pull away fun and playfulness. My husband is incredibly playful, and before I was blessed to be red pilled and have a path to change, I withheld sex and I withheld playfulness. I wouldn't play back with my husband, and I treated him like he was immature and that he needed to grow up. And it's crushing to them. It's absolutely crushing because they can't understand what happened to the woman I married that liked to have fun and would be playful. I don't understand what I did wrong. And so it's a huge blessing to see this now and to have re-engaged with myself and re-engaged with my husband to be playful with him again, because it's so important to him and it's simple. And why wouldn't we want that? It's a joy in ourselves and a joy of life that we withhold from our husbands, and then we also withhold from ourselves. These are the very things we withhold from ourselves. The fourth biggest way that we withhold is appreciation. We don't say thank you. We don't appreciate our husbands for all they do for us as good men. We don't appreciate their hard work. We don't appreciate their kindness, their thoughtfulness. I had a client not too long ago, a male client, who he put up a fence in the backyard for him and his wife and worked really hard at it. It was not something that was natural to him. And he completed it, and he was so excited, and he went to go get his wife to show her. And she came out, and not a thank you. Wow, I can't believe you did this. Nothing. Her first comment It's not even over there. That was a conscious and malicious behavior to withhold from him and not give him that appreciation. The fifth biggest way that we withhold is we withhold respect, which is very important to a man in a relationship. As someone said in the comments, it's more, that is their way of being loved, is being validated through respect. And we withhold respect. And that can look like, pardon my language, bitching about our husbands to our girlfriends, bitching about our husbands to their mother, which is one of the biggest ways we can be disrespectful, not being honest about the budget or honest about money, saying horrible things that we think we're entitled and justified to and we should just get away with. Those are the 5 main ways we withhold: sex, affection, fun and playfulness, appreciation, and respect. And it all stems from wanting our husbands to fill this emptiness within us that they cannot. Our fantasy of love as women, of who we believe our husbands are supposed to be for us and how they're supposed to make us feel, is a trap, because it can never happen. And to me, the saddest part for good men is that our husbands buy into our blame of them. We blame them for our own feelings of emptiness, our own unhappiness, our own unfulfillment in the relationship that we believe they're creating in us. So we blame our husbands and we tell them the laundry list of demands and expectations we have of what we need them to do to make us feel loved, from writing love letters to doing things around the house without being asked, to reading the books we want them to read with us, to saying words of affection, the different, I don't know all of them because quite frankly, they don't work, the love languages, and just the myriad of demands and expectations that we have and we give them. And a good man will try to do those things. But because we have that emptiness and lack of love within ourselves, no matter what they do, it can't be done the right way and it can never be enough. And then a good man buys into our blame through the withholding, that they are the problem and there's something wrong with them that they need to fix or they need to be doing, that then will finally be happy and be nice and give back and reciprocate in the relationship. And it never happens. It never happens. And that's then where a good man feels defeated, and he'll either keep trying and keep trying or keep trying, or he throws his hands up and essentially says, F this. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what I stop doing. It's never enough for her. I'm always wrong. I'm not enough. And that's how we make them feel. And the withholding, it is incredibly vicious and wicked and the cruelest thing that we do to good men. And we do it in other relationships as well. And I think it's really important to recognize that it's an expression of withholding from ourselves, the things we don't provide to ourselves to show ourselves that we are loved, that we are important, that we matter, and filling that emptiness within us to be whole within ourselves, and then bringing that wholeness into the relationship. And again, these are the behaviors we have to see. We have to get exposed so we know what we actually have to work on and what we actually have to change if we ever hope to be happy, if we ever hope to feel loved, if we ever hope to have a healthy marriage and a healthy relationship with a good man.